আজকে মাহিরের সেন্ট্রাল হাই স্কুলে ওরিয়েন্টেশন, তো সেখানে আসলাম।
English 1. English 1 is a required class. We don't have different levels of that. That's our English class. Every ninth grader is also going to have world history. Again, you do not have different levels of that course. Finally, every ninth grader is going to have biology. So, even if your student went to a middle school that, called a class biology, I promise you what they're going to get here is very different. It's more immersive, it's more hands-on, it's more lab-based. So every ninth grader will be taking biology. Now here's when kind of the variation comes. So, as of today, every single ninth grader has Algebra 1 on their schedule. However, if they want to take Algebra 2 or Algebra 2 honors, which would put them ahead of the traditional path at Central High School, they have to take that optional screening test today. And it's going to be offered in, I believe it's room 127, but if you just go in the main hallway, someone will point you in that direction. It'll be offered probably between 11 and 12, but obviously if they're late, they still can take it. We also have an Algebra 1 honors class. You do not have to take any sort of test for that. All they have to do is tell their teacher on the first day of school, and Mr. Zach, who is the math department chair, will tell me, and I will make that change. Okay? So that's the first kind of choice that students have, is their math level. What I will say is, last year was very challenging for everyone. Virtual school, while successful, probably didn't teach as much as students would have gotten in a classroom. So I want you just to be cautious of, jumping too far in math, because you can still get to our highest levels of math, meaning IB or AP calculus, with just taking Algebra 1 as a freshman. We offer an option for students to double up as sophomores, meaning they take Algebra 2 and geometry. So, just don't, think they have to go ahead this year in order to max out of math. Next, we have foreign language. We are so lucky at Central. This is what really sets us apart. We offer 5 different modern languages. Well, one is not modern. I'll get to that in a second. We offer French, Spanish, Italian, Mandarin Chinese, and Latin. Students right now, every single student is rostered to a level 1 of one of those 5 classes. We did our best to give students what they picked over the summer on a survey. If your student has any prior experience whatsoever in a foreign language, and I'll explain what that means, we offer an optional placement screen today to get them in the right level. So, here's what that means. If your student went to a middle school where they had language, so let's say they went to a private school where they do, Spanish throughout, or they went to Independence Charter School, which is known to be a Spanish immersion school, please have them take that test. We have many, many freshmen, and I can point because one of my lovely students over there was ahead. You, Sasha? Yep. We have many ninth graders who start in Spanish 2 or Spanish 2 honors. You do not have to start at level 1. And by being ahead, it's great. You're just fluent more quickly, and you have more room in your schedule to take other classes. Also, prior experience is, let's say you live in a household that speaks Mandarin Chinese. So you can kind of converse with your family, but you don't know how to write, you don't know characters, and you want to learn more. We offer a special class called Chinese for Native Speakers. We also offer that for Spanish. Spanish for native speakers. So that's why if you have any prior experience in a language, we ask that you take that test after school today. And you can take both the math and the language in the same day, so we can get in the right spot. If you have no experience in language, and you really don't like what I gave you, let's say you're like, my kid, all he wanted was Latin and they got Spanish, please have them talk to me, or you talk to me. I'll give you my email. I can make changes. We try, to stick to what's there, but we do make changes. So the last category of classes is electives. Central offers 4 electives for 9th graders. Every 9th grader will get 2, and they are random. We offer Intro to Music, Intro to Art, Intro to Theater, and finally we have a freshman gym. They are randomly assigned to your students. They get one course for half the year and another course for half the year. They switch in the 3rd marking period. Again, we try to stick to what they have, but if they are devastated, all they wanted was theater, please have them come see me, and I bet we can make a change, okay? The beauty of those electives is just simply to give your kids a break from traditional academic rigor, and also to expose them to what we have here. We have an incredible music department and art department. We offer 20 music classes alone. That might be an exaggeration. It might be closer to 15, but it's a lot. So the beauty of these freshman electives is to expose them to what Central has to offer. The last thing I'll say before I turn the mic over is lunch. This is my absolutely most common received email. Since August 7th, when rosters went live, I have received over 1,000 emails from students and parents, not just about lunch, but about schedules. I will say I have answered every single one. They might have typos, they might say done, or will do, or got it, but I try my best to answer as soon as possible. Here's the deal with lunch. Central has 2,500 students. This is our only cafeteria. I bet you can see just by looking around, we could never fit 2,500 students in this cafeteria. Even pre-COVID, we couldn't fit it safely. So what we do is we divide lunches up into 7 periods. Every period throughout the day, except for advisory, you could have a lunch. Unfortunately, we do not let students pick their lunches unless medical documentation is provided. So if a kid has type 1 diabetes or hypoglycemia, have a doctor email and we'll make sure to get them the lunch that their doctor wants them to have. 4th period lunch is about the most central lunch you can have in the day. But we do have students who have first lunch, and we have students who have 7th lunch. So, if your student is unhappy with their lunch, I am sorry, but here's some comforting words. Our teachers are super nice here at Central, like the nicest. If all they say is, hey, Mrs. Snyder, I'm hungry, can I eat? I promise you, your teacher will say yes. Maybe not in a science lab. Other than that, they are able to eat in class as long as they're respectful. I wouldn't tell them to bring a tuna fish sandwich into class, but like a granola bar, fruit, chips, feel free, okay? So if your student is unhappy with their lunch, I'm sorry, there's nothing that we can do right now. However, if your student plays 2 varsity sports, we do have something called a sports roster that we try to accommodate, and that just means 7th period. And that's just so they don't miss as much class. Okay? So I'll give you my email. Again, my name is Avi Snyder. My email is not Snyder, it's something else. It is A Hockfield, H-O-C-K, field, at philasd.org. A Hockfield at philasd.org. Feel free to email me if you have a question. And then the last thing I'll say is, I'm so excited to meet all of you and meet all of your students. As they progress at Central, they start to get more and more choice. We offer an amazing course catalog here at Central. Between our enormous IB diploma program and our AP course catalog, we offer some of the most advanced classes of any school in the country. As they get older, they will have more and more choice. They will learn about all of the courses that we offer. I myself give 10 different assemblies throughout the year to each grade. So they will know exactly what their options are. Right now in 9th grade, they have the least amount of choice. But I promise you, as they get older, they get more and more and more and more. All right? So it was really nice to meet you. Feel free to reach out. If for some reason, if your kid is a student who went to a charter school or a private school and you don't see their roster online, I am able to print them for you, but I ask if you want me to print their roster, please come down to the roster office as soon as possible, because I have some meetings in the afternoon, okay? All right, thanks everyone.
Okay, we now have a fun opportunity for you to hear from some of our students at Central. So I'm going to ask these lovely ladies to come up. They'll introduce themselves, tell you what year they are, tell you what activities they're involved with, and then you should feel free to ask them questions.
Hello everyone, my name is Kylie. I'm in 281, so I'm a rising senior. I'm involved in the stage crew. I've been involved in that since freshman year. I'm in our class cabinet. I'm involved in the HSDA, which is the High School Democrats of America Club. And I've also served on the XA cabinet as well as the class cabinet.
Hi, my name is Dee. I'm also 281, I'm a senior. I'm involved with Central soccer team. I'm involved with the choir, the Arts at Central, Central Voter Registration Team, and in Africa.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex, also a senior, so 281. I'm JSU, which is Jewish Student Union, and also the Eastern North African Society, also in the National Honor Society, the IB program that Ms. Snyder mentioned. I do other things like outside. That's good.
My name is Julia. I'm also a senior in 281, and I'm also in JSU Menas. And me and Alex also created a club, a Central Bullet Journaling Club. And then, oh yeah, DISC is design inspired by sustainability and climate change. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Okay, so that's the International Baccalaureate program. That's like an international program, so if your child is looking to apply to like international schools, that's great because they look at like those scores, like IB exam scores, like internationally versus like AP, like advanced placement is more just like a US thing, kind of like the SAT. They don't really, like you can't really compare like in other countries. And Central is just like a smaller like group of people. I think it's like between 60 and 70 people, like just 2 classes worth of kids. We take all IB classes. You do have an option to do just IB classes but not be in the diploma program. But if you're in the diploma program, you apply sophomore year, and then like they select 60 to 70 kids based on like grades, teacher recommendations, things like that. And then you take all IB classes, and then if you pass your exams with like high enough marks, then you get a diploma, which is great for like college credit. I'm not really sure how many colleges actually award credit for it, but it looks really good for applications. And it's just a lot of really advanced courses.
So what Alex mentioned about that you can take IB classes and not be in the program, there are certain types of classes that you can take without being in the program. You can't take like English or history without being in it, but you can take classes like psychology, and I'm in IB Spanish. And it's a really great way that it basically functions like AP, but it, like Alex said, it's good for international schools.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if you're, say for instance, the student enrolled in IB, can they later change their mind and choose AP if they wanted to?
So hypothetically, yes, if you really hate it. Ms. Snyder is like the coordinator. Personally, like I was on the fence for IB, and she said if you really hate it, beginning of junior year, you can drop it. It's a little bit difficult from that point on because they usually do like testing for AP classes at the end of like the school year and for the next school year. So if you drop out of the IB, you like probably should take the AP testing in advance, just so that if you drop out, you can be like, well, I passed the test or I did well, like can I be placed in an AP class? But that gets a little bit complicated. So I don't really think it's the best idea to drop it. But like, for example, like Ms. Snyder said, I was ahead in Spanish, so for senior year, I don't have to take Spanish anymore. We're like out of IB Spanish classes. So I have like an empty spot, and I'm also done with math, so I have another empty spot. So I have 2 classes where I can take any IB class I want, or any class at Central, since for IB I can get into any class. So in that case, like I could take AP Spanish 4 if I wanted to. So you have that option if your kid's like ahead in a certain class.
Okay.
Other questions?
Could you tell us, just give us an idea of the types of classes you each have this coming year?
So for me personally, my roster is, I have in IB Spanish, I'm in AP US Government and Politics, I'm in AP Calculus BC, I'm in English 4, and I'm in Engineering Honors, which is a cool class, especially if you're looking to be in the engineering field like me.
Okay, we have our 2 final presentations for today. First is from the Alumni Association.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia Leck. I am the Executive Director of the Associated Alumni of Central High School. It's a mouthful, so we typically go by ACHS. You'll hear from us typically towards the end of your student's career here, but we wanted to do a formal introduction today just to kind of get our name out there and so that you're familiar with us. The ACHS serves as a resource, so we certainly want you to have familiarity with us. A little bit about me. I am a proud graduate of Central High School. As you've heard today, there are several of us throughout this school. I graduated 17 years ago, so just a couple years ago. And I'm with the class of 263. If that holds any weight to you, you'll kind of realize that as your student is part of the 284. You'll hear those numbers quite frequently, and it's really something to be proud of. So, my position with the Alumni Association affords me the opportunity to really get to know not only the students, the Central community here, but also, of course, 30,000 alumni that we have across the world, and including probably some parents here might be alumni, and as you heard, some of these students have family members and people that they know that have attended Central. It's a wonderful school, as you all have come to know as parents, and know that your child is coming to a wonderful school, and President McKenna will talk to that. Like I said, it's a large undertaking, but it's meant to not only house a performing arts center, but we hope that there'll be a STEM facility that can be then placed in a wing in the existing building here, as well as space for students to gather and to study, and along with other critical improvements on this site and on this campus. Additional projects that we've helped fund in the past were air conditioners. I know you can't feel that in here, but they are in the classrooms, and that was provided along with the Home and School Association. So we certainly value that partnership that we have with the Home and School Association and with the Central community. And you now belong to that. So, give yourself a round of applause for that, right? Think about how you now belong to this community, which is an amazing, amazing, wonderful network of folks.
Okay, so thank you very much, Cynthia. And the Alumni Association, as you said, does so much for this school. It's pretty amazing. And now we have our final presenter for the day. President McKenna is going to talk to you about maybe anything that you haven't already heard.
I'll try not to repeat it. I know it's very warm up here. I apologize. Because of COVID restrictions, we had to move everything to this room. We traditionally would be in the air-conditioned Spain Conference Center, but would not hold this amount of people safely. So welcome. It is great to be here with you all. I met with your children earlier this morning, and I congratulated them, the first thing I did. And I congratulate all of you. I also get to, one of my roles is Director of Admissions. We don't have that as a separate position here like many other schools. And I explained to your children that it's not an easy place to get accepted to. we look at, last year we looked at almost 4,000 applications for the 650 seats that we have for our 9th grade. So you've done an amazing job with your children. I currently have a child starting 8th grade, and I'm hoping that I can be sitting where you are. I probably won't be sitting where you are, but I'm hoping that my child will be accepted here for next year, and that's what I think of the school. I would send both my daughters here. It's just a wonderful place. We have a terrific faculty. I always stand in the wrong spot. Should I stand here? Okay. And this past 15, 16, 17 months has been incredibly challenging for all of us. And I told your children that, not just you. It's been difficult for your parents. It's been difficult for me. I'm entering my 26th year in the school district of Philadelphia. I've been leading schools in Philadelphia for 16 years, and I've been blessed to lead Central. This is my 10th year. And last year was a challenge for me to come around the corner at Alumni and Ogons in the morning and not see the sea of students pouring into the building. Was very difficult for me. And if I never have to go on another Zoom call or Google Meet, I'll be thrilled. My wife actually also is a principal in Philadelphia. So she runs a K-8. And at the beginning of the year, we were running 2 schools from our house in South Philadelphia, which was the oddest thing when I would talk to people about. So it's not the way schools should be. I'm thrilled to be in a room with you. I told your children I was thrilled to be with them this morning, just to see them and talk to them. I encourage them to not only focus on the academic program, which will be the primary focus while they're here. I also said that get involved with the club, get involved with the sport. You'll meet students from different grade levels. You'll make connections with students from all over the city. This freshman class is coming from 164 different schools in the city of Philadelphia. Other schools can't say that. And I also shared with them the fact that we are large can be intimidating, because this is bigger than probably where they're all coming from, but it enables us to offer them experiences in every different area, every different content area. So if they're an art student, there's an art track, there's a music track, there's an engineering track. We have course offerings that no other schools have. So we're excited to work with your children over the next 4 years. I did ask them a couple questions. I always survey the freshmen. I said, raise your hand if you didn't have to study in middle school. And many of your children raised their hands. And I said, that's going to change. You're going to need to learn to organize your time. You're going to need to learn to make sure you're hitting the books. This is very important, especially as you transition here. This will not be like a normal transition year, though, to Central High School. We will be focusing as a faculty and as an admin team on the social and emotional well-being of your children. We know that there's a lot of stress that they've got to deal with, trauma, many of us as adults as well. So we'll focus on that during advisory and in classes. We're continuing our partnership with the Inner Strength Foundation, so we will teach mindfulness techniques. So we want to make sure that our students are able to come here, hit the ground running, and support them. The other thing I asked them was, raise your hand if you see yourself in college in 4 years. And every student raised their hand. And that's what we do. We get students ready for college, and hopefully the college that they want to go to. So you should be happy about that. All your children raised their hands for that as well. So it's going to be an interesting year. We'll try to communicate I send a lot of emails out. So if you're not getting emails starting at the beginning of September, make sure you reach out to Ms. Flowers in the main office. We can make sure that you get on the system, whatever buttons have to be clicked so you can get the emails from us. Your children will participate in a roster run next week. It's not mandatory, but it's great for them to get in the building with their entire class, move around the building, meet their teachers, hear from their teachers, and just see the school before they come the following week when there's 2,500 people here. And it's a great place to go to school. We trust students here. This is not a normal high school. There's a lot of trust. And we try to teach students to advocate for themselves. But if you see your child struggling with something, please ask for assistance. You can reach out to any member of my admin team. You can reach out to me. We have great counselors. We have great teachers. The school-based teacher leaders that run the departments are wonderful as well. They all have a lot of experience here. So don't wait until the end of the first quarter. If you see your child struggling with something in particular, reach out to us and we'll try to get them supports in place quickly. Okay? So I don't want to talk, anybody have any questions for me? I know there was a question about the Bachelor of Arts degree. So up until 1911, students would graduate from Central with a Bachelor of Arts and go right into medical and law school. That does not happen any longer. It is, and it's not a dual enrollment degree. It's more, and it's not an honorary degree though, but it is a Bachelor of Arts, but they have to go and matriculate for college. So we do have dual enrollment programs though. We have students, when Colleen Hannes, who just left, unfortunately, who was the president of LaSalle, we expanded our partnership. So we have students taking classes at LaSalle. We have students taking classes at CCP. We have students taking classes at Temple University and University of Pennsylvania. So when students get here, they'll learn more about those opportunities. So they can earn college credits just in specialized programs.